Cool. We're live now. Can you just head over to our YouTube and see if you can see a live stream?
Yeah, one second.
Yeah, I think we are live now.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I think let's just wait around a little bit. Let some people join. You see the stream, right, on YouTube?
Yeah. Have you enabled the chat as well for the audience?
Yes. Anybody who joins can basically start chatting right there on YouTube.
Have you enabled the chat as well for the audience?
Don't think anybody's here, but I think it's getting late, so let's start.
Yeah, there are 5 viewers as of now
Oh, where do you see that?
in the YouTube stream.
Okay, cool. Right, so hi to our 5 viewers. My name is Ashrit, one of the co-founders at Beatworks, and today I'm joined by Anejath, who's going to be co-hosting the session with me. Welcome to Eavesdrop, yet another edition of Eavesdrop. In fact, we're supposed to have Veer join us as well, Viridian, but there's been a slight confusion and he's unable to join us as of now, but I think he may step in a little later. Yeah, guys, well, let's get right into it. Let's start with our first submission for the day by Antumra. Let's check it out. We're just going to do a quick test because we're moving from Twitch to broadcasting on YouTube. So let me know if you can hear the track as I play it. You hearing it, Anejath?
Can't seem to hear it.
Okay. What now? Unfortunately, that's all the time we have per track. Uh, That's because we've got more than 30 submissions this time. And yeah, let's get into talking about the track that we just heard. What do you think, Anejath?
I think it's pretty well made. Very good effects. I'm a sucker for like good effects, especially in psytrance music, because I think that kind of defines the genre. So I think he's done a pretty good job with the effects there. I only feel that to make the track more impactful, if your kick and your bass can be a little more prominent, it might help. But again, I'm not an expert in psytrance, so but yeah, in the overall vibe of the track, I think you've got it spot on. Is my opinion.
For sure. We're starting this edition of Eavesdrop off with such an eccentric track. I'm really curious to hear what's next.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job with putting the idea together, and it sounds very different from the side that I'm used to listening to.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. The track's called Petals, and the artist is Cosmic Vibrations. Let's check it out. All right, so that was the entire length of the track. I just felt like it could go on a little longer because you're trying to build like a really nice vibe there, and I think there's a little bit of the story missing, in my opinion. But really nice musicality in there. I think I enjoyed that piece quite a bit, and hand it over to Anejath, who
Yeah, so in my opinion, also, I would agree with Guru is that if you're making tracks like this, where there is kind of a journey, kind of a story, it may help your story for it to run a bit longer. But yeah, other than that, I agree with Guru in terms of the musicality and everything. It's all there. Like the mood is there, the story is there. So just if you can elongate it or maybe take it somewhere else, it might create something else. You never know. Yeah.
yeah, it has the bones of a really nice piece of work. I guess it
So
needs a little bit
yeah,
more work.
absolutely, absolutely.
Cool. Let's move on to the next one. We actually have Father, Son, and Alcohol, who's coming back to Eavesdrop with another submission. I believe he did give us a track last time, which was really impressive. Let's check this out. It's called Electro Bass Psytrance Dub Demo. I'm sure it's going to be interesting going by that name. Let's check it out without further ado. Wow, that was I really enjoyed listening to that right from the start to the end. Uh, nice little, like, few snippets of journeys that you take us on, as the name of the track suggests. Keep making more awesome music like this, man. It's really, really great to hear your stuff. Anejath, what do you think?
So I really like tracks that have this unexpected nature to them, where one section you're thinking your track is going one way and then suddenly switches up and just goes another way. So that's what I liked about the track. And as far as what I could hear in my earphones, there's no faults as such in terms of the quality of the music itself. So yeah, well done.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
can't fault anything on there myself. Cool. Let's move on to the next track then. All right. So this next track is definitely not for the faint-hearted, because when you read 180 BPM in the name of the track, you know it's going to be a psytrance tune, and you know it's going to be sinister. So we have Sinister Realms, who's returning to us uh, time and again with some incredible tunes. So let's check out his track without any further delay. Um, I think you set the bar pretty high for us to judge this track. But yeah, to be honest, I think you've done better work in the past. That's my 2 cents. But even this track has a lot of fun elements in there, which I quite enjoyed. And I think you always do a great job with mixing your tunes, despite having so many elements and so much ear candy thrown in there. So kudos to that. But we'll look forward to hearing some of your more darker stuff the next time. Anejath?
Yeah, I don't really have much to add there. I think I agree. I feel you are at your best when you make dark music. So I feel stick to that. But yeah, regardless, I think it was a killer track, regardless of that. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So let's move on to the next one then. We have, I don't think I've seen this name before on Eavesdrop, any of the previous editions that we've done. The artist name is Vortex, and the track is called In Loom. Sorry, I may have got the artist name wrong, but I think it's Syzz. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, to be honest. But let's check it out. Yeah, Anejath, why don't you start first and follow me?
Yeah, so I got the vibe of the track you're going for, and it is something I may be able to comment on. Except for the previous tracks, which were slightly out of my zone, but this is kind of in my zone, so I can probably give you some pointers. It's one of them. I think was your elements were a little too muffled. I felt, and you may have done that intentionally because in this atmospheric techno style, everything is very subtle and toned down. But I just feel some of the main elements of your story of your track need to pop out a little bit more, and that can be done simply by increasing the volume or whatever it is. And even the kick drum, I could hear a bit of, I don't know if it was phasing or just a muffled kick drum in general. When there were like a bunch of elements going on, it felt like it was a little behind. So you could increase the volume of the kick a little bit or try a different kick drum or whatever. But I think the idea of the track is there, and the mood of the track is there. So I think, yeah, that's the most important at the end.
Yeah, for sure. I think I resonate with a lot of the points Anejath brought up. I felt also like there's a lack of bass in the track. It was just the kick on the low end, and there wasn't much else supporting that kick. Uh, but yeah, even I get the vibe that you're going for, which is like a very toned down sort of atmospheric approach to techno, which is actually very difficult to achieve, to be honest. But yeah, I think if you fill up that low end a little more, like maybe with even like a sine wave bass line that's playing a few notes, I think that could add a lot of character in holding everything else in place. But yeah, keep sending us more stuff. We always like listening to demos from you. All right, so up next we have two oscillators. Give them a shout out in the chat. They're here with us. Let's check out their track. It's called Together Alive. Wow, guys, you have come a really long way since the first time you've sent us demos. I believe you did send us a couple of tunes for the first Eavesdrop, and since then, this has been a huge, huge improvement. Reminded me a little bit of the older stuff from Rodriguez Jr. I can also hear your Behringer Moog clone that you guys recently picked up, I believe. Great stuff. I think it's got a really nice organic textural vibe, and you guys have really cracked this one. So yeah, keep it going. You want to chime in, Anejath?
Not really. I think you covered it. I really like the track. I think it's got the vibe and well made. So, yeah, nothing critical to say there.
Absolutely. All right, then let's move on to the next one. We have a new submission from somebody who's not sent us music before. One Up is the artist name, and it's called Roll It Down, the track. Let's check it out.
Say space, yeah, what up on the tray, bitch, one up on the track. Roll it down, you roll it down, roll it down, you got to roll it down, roll it down, roll it down, roll it down. I'm on the styling face, but I'ma beat you up like the 9 and 10. But I got taste the blow, know what a phantom is. I got 5 with this, I ain't throwing a fish, I just go see me, sis. She be dizzy when I'm soaking on the car. Trees all gang up with my slime. She on my dick, she be my bitch, she be my slime. I got 4 mags and choppers, I just blow your guts. Leaving slay. New bitch breaker, back. I'll be on some crack. Chopper make it clack. Believe it, slay. New bitch breaker, back. I'll be on some crack. Chopper make it clack.
All right, I think I quite enjoyed listening to that little piece of trap hip hop, and it quite reminded me of Kanye's very old track, Love Lockdown, especially with the vocoder auto tune sort of thing going on with the vocal. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Thanks for sending that in, Anejath.
Yeah.
Say something.
Yeah, for me, it's. I think I'm not an expert in this style, but what you could probably do is give a bit of breathing room for your lyrics as well as some of your drum elements. Like for example, the hat roll that keeps happening I think every bar it happens twice or thrice. So you can maybe extend the gap between that, and for your lyrics also you can probably give a gap in the middle, like breakdown of sorts. And yeah, I mean, other than that, I think your elements are all there. I think the arrangement could need a bit of tweaking. That's all. I think. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think I do agree with that. It felt a little shorter than it should have. Maybe you can do like an extended mix version of this and give all the elements, the beautiful elements in there, some breathing room. All right, so let's move on to the next one. We have Shuaki sending us a track called Glitch in the Matrix. I don't think we've seen this name before on Eavesdrop. So always a pleasure to see some new names here. Let's check it out.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. You don't know what it is, but it's there. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Matrix. Do you want to know? It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. You have to see it for yourself. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Yeah, I think there's nice track, but there's a lot of room for improvement here. At least where I'm listening to on my monitors, I felt like the melody was a bit shrill in the higher mids. That could be tamed by reducing its volume a bit. And overall, I feel like your mix could use a better balance because there's like everything is on just one level and there's not much dynamic range in there. That's what I felt, and also the kick was very muffled. And another thing that really stuck out to me was there was a clash of harmonies at certain points. That's definitely not cool. I'm sure you can work on these things and get better. I'll hand it over to Anejath for his review.
Yeah, I mean, mainly what I noticed was the kick drum and the clash of keys at some point. So, I mean, the harmonies, what it can happen when maybe like couple of harmonies are like going up and down at the same time and they meet in the middle where they're not supposed to, and that's where it kind of creates that slightly unpleasant kind of tone. So, I mean, if you dig a little bit more into music theory and just even not even like advanced stuff, some of the basic stuff, I think you can sort out this problem. And even the kick drum, probably by EQing it a bit better or side chaining your bass and stuff, can just solve your problem. Like most of these problems, I think, as Guru said, also with the balancing and all, can be solved by just adjusting volumes, in my opinion. Yeah, that's all it.
All right. Thanks, Anejath, for that detailed review. Let's move on to the next one. And yeah, we used to post track names and artist names on Twitch, which I haven't been doing, but yes, thanks for pointing that out, Rohit. I will start doing this from the next track on. Let's check it out. We have a track called Inertia by Pac-dandy. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Sorry if I'm not saying it right, but let's check it out. If we had an award for the perfect Sunday tune, this would definitely win it. Really enjoyed that piece of work, and look forward to hearing more of your stuff. I don't think I can fault anything on there. You've done a very clever job with the arrangement, and even the melody is so pleasing. I can hear it over and over again. Anejath, over to you.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Can't really point out anything negative there. It was very nice, very relaxing. So yeah, well done.
All right. So up next we have the 13th Note, who's been sending us music for a very long time, and I believe Ishwar also got a release on an Indian label, Superb. So congrats on that, and let's check out his track without further ado. Hey, Ishwar, that's a pretty sick track. I always admire the way you use effects in your tunes, and really like the drop as well, like right after the first break. So yeah, really amazing tune. I don't think I have much to say about it. There were some mixing issues that you were going through earlier, but I think this one's pretty sorted. I'll hand it over to Anejath.
Yeah, I would agree with Guru. Like in terms of your arrangement and your idea, I think it's pretty much there. You build that anticipation in the start, and then you reveal the full track as it goes. And I like that. One thing I noticed was during the first breakdown, your volume shot up a little bit. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but that could be happening because you may not have compressed something properly, or your sidechain is not working properly. So yeah, just look into that. But other than that, I think it's good to go.
Super. We always look forward to hearing more from you, Ritisha. Thanks for sending this one in. Let's check out the next tune by somebody who's better known as a designer, but he's also been making music now, which is amazing. So let's welcome Abhedya from Hyderabad. I believe his project is called Offline. And he sent us a few demos, but I'm going to be able to only play one. Abhedya, maybe you weren't aware of this earlier, but we only take one entry from each person per stream of Eavesdrop. So I'm going to play the one with the highest number of plays. So it's called Walking with Giants. Let's check it out without further delay. Yeah, Vedya, thank you so much for sending us music. I think the last time we spoke, I remember you telling me that you've been getting into making music, and it's great to hear some music from you finally. Um, nice, really nice track. I really like the rhythmic work that you have going on in here. But it just felt like it missing a certain character in the story that you're trying to tell. That's all I feel, to be honest. But other than that, really slick stuff. I can't wait to check out your other tracks outside of Eavesdrop, and I'll get back to you with some of my feedback. I'll hand it over to Anejath for his review.
I really like drum and bass, especially like more fast-paced, aggressive drum and bass that you're going for, Vedya. So good job on that. I think you've got the mood there, and as Guru said, you might be missing a few mood elements there just to add to the energy a little bit more. And besides that, I feel your drums also could be a little more impactful, because at the end, drum and bass is kind of revolves around the impact of the drums itself. So if you can increase the impact of your drums, the energy in the drums, I think you'll have a solid track on your hands for sure.
This reminds me of a meme I saw recently where it said, since there's a recession coming, it's either going to be drum or bass.
Drum or bass, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next tune. We have Freefall, who sent us some music before, and this one's called Pick Up the Call. All right, try to call us and we'll definitely pick up your call. Let's check it. Hey, that was nice. That was a really nice tune. You got some really slick elements in there, and that vibe you're going for with sort of that Middle Eastern touch. There, that's pretty evident, and nice use of the melodies up until that second melody comes into the track. I just felt like it's just not matching with the rest of the track. Uh, Maybe change a few notes around in there because it's giving away a very different vibe from what the previous elements were trying to tell me. That's all I felt, and there was a little bit of like bass was a bit muffled. Kick and bass is something we could work on a little bit more, but really like the use of the mental claps and the effects, all of that. Good job on it. I'll hand it over to Anejath.
Yeah, as Guru mentioned, couple of things which I also agree with, which is the kick and bass mix. I think the bass can be a little bit louder, and that'll actually complement the very nice groove you already have going on actually with the drums. So I think you've done a good job with your drums there. But yeah, other than that, again, that melody that comes towards the later part of the track is kind of mismatched with the vibe. So you can either try replacing that or modulating that or just play around with that. That might help, in my opinion. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anjad, for that. Let's move on to the next tune. We have Gitan Show. I don't think I've seen this name before on Eavesdrop, and the track is called One and June. I'm gonna put it on the chat for you guys to read, and let's check it out. Dude, I think you have some insanely cool elements in there, but it's just that it's all over the place. There's too much happening all at once, and I think you need to like step back a little bit and strip it down. But other than that, I really like the folksy sort of vibe that you're going for with this sort of new age beat on it. Just that it could be stripped down and could be a little more minimal, and that could definitely change the direction of how all of this is put together. That's pretty much all I feel. Anejath?
Yeah, I agree with the first point Guru spoke about, which was like crowding up the whole track with a bunch of different elements and effects. It does sound cool at certain parts, but it becomes incoherent at certain parts and a little unpleasant also. So you may want to kind of pick and choose at which part you want to put what kind of elements. And a good example of that is probably listen to some of Aphex Twin's music, because it's very similar to the vibe you're going for. It's chaotic and simple at the same time. So that's where I think you can take some like good learning points from him. So yeah, just as an example, yeah, is what I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a great example that the artist can follow. All right, so let's check out the next tune. We have Hued Music with a track called Voices. I'm going to post the link to the track because it's a public tune. So let's check it out.
It's one of the three characteristics of sound.
Another is musical tone.
Is all around us.
The bones of the skull also encases the inner ear. Encases the inner ear. The inner ear.
You know anything about this?
At this moment, Arthur, there's a voice inside of me saying,
listen, 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 listen,
there's a voice inside of me saying,
listen, 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 listen.
I think there's only one way to put this and be straight up about it. And there's a lot of ideas here, but they're all quite mismatched, to be honest. And also, the mix is pretty weak. I'm really confused hearing this track because I don't know what exactly it is that you're trying to portray, because there's so much going on in there, but they're not all like sort of gelled well together. That's my 2 cents about.
Yeah, for me also it's the same. It's a bit incoherent, especially when that breakdown comes in and you start getting those vocal samples and all. It feels like the track is kind of going somewhere else, and your expectations kind of build, but when the drop comes in, it's back to the same, which is again not very energetic. So I would say stick to one idea and just try and build that into something more energetic is my advice.
Yeah, I can totally relate with this problem that you have going on, especially during my initial days of making music, where I would have too much going on in one single track, and a lot of people would tell me that, you could make this into an EP instead of just putting it all together into one track. And that is sort of the syndrome that I feel you're going through. Even that delay on the vocal in the intro that, sort of went on over the beat, that's a very beginner thing to do. I think you can learn from these mistakes and get better with time and effort. But yeah, thanks for sending us your music. It's always very mature and very brave, to be honest, of anyone to be able to send their music out into the open like this and have someone give feedback or criticism about it. So kudos to you for doing that. Let's check out the next track. We have Overtone with a track called Cavend. Let's check it out without further ado. Hey, Overtone, if you're here in the chat, I think I really enjoyed that tune. There's certain style and class about the way you're using your melodies, and I think that's pretty cool. I don't think I have a lot of negative feedback on this one, except that maybe your drum elements could be a little brighter. That's pretty much all I felt about it.
Yeah, I would say pretty much the same. Drums can be a little bit more energetic, but yeah, other than that, nice melodies, nice mood. Yeah, pretty good.
Cool. So let's move on to the next one. The track is called Eclipse, and it's made by Lats. Let's check it out without further ado.
Guru, I think you're on mute.
Ah, my bad. Okay, lads, thanks for sending us that tune. There are a few obvious problems in the track. It's all to do with musicality. Those melodies that you're using, there's about 3 or 4 of them, including the melody of the bass line, and they're all clashing in terms of music theory. I think that's where you need to up your game and get better with. But I think really nice work with the drums. The rhythm is quite nice, and you've done a fairly good job with mixing it as well. But it's just that when musicality clashes, it takes over everything else, and that becomes the most obvious feedback. But yeah, that's pretty much it from my end. I'll hand it over to Anejath now.
Yeah, for me also, as Guru mentioned towards the end, like if you have harmonic dissonance happening, it kind of stands out over everything else, especially when you're making melodic techno or any kind of melodic music for that matter. And yeah, I think if you fix that, everything else should fall into place because your groove is there, your drums are there. But the mood is kind of missing, and that is mainly because your harmonies are not in place. So yeah, once you fix that, I think that should solve like 90% of your problems.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we definitely look forward to hearing more of your music in the future. So take this as feedback for yourself, and which you can improve on. Thanks once again, and let's check out the next tune. Coming back to Eavesdrop is I can call him Eavesdrop Hero Escape, with a track called The Sound of the Night. He's been sending us music from the very first edition of Eavesdrop, and there's always something really special about his tunes. So let's check this out without any more hype from me. think that was quite a cool journey, and Escape always lives up to the hype. Thanks for sending us that tune, and yeah, I think I only have positive things to say about it. Great use of Foley in there was quite magical, and also how unpredictable the track is. That's a wonder in itself. Yeah, thanks once again. I'll hand it over to Anejath.
Yeah, I felt the same because it's got that unpredictability and familiarity at the same time. It's very relaxing and soothing. One thing I could suggest you is probably try and give a bit more stereo width to your elements, like try and spread them around a little bit. Like one of the effects could be completely panned to the left or right, whatever. So just that gives an impression of space, but that's again a very small thing, and it's a matter of choice actually. It's not even something you have to do. But yeah, I enjoyed that track for sure. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We have a track called Wonder by Deodar. Not sure if I'm saying the name right, but let's check it out. a nice tune. It's got a lot of class in the use of all the elements, but I just felt like in the first breakdown, everything just goes really soft. That's a bit too much dynamics going on over there. Maybe you could still keep the volume of the drums intact when you enter the breakdown. And I also felt like maybe an effect leading up to the breakdown or at the breakdown that could add a little more drama to that change. And in terms of musicality, I think you used your melodies really well. But since there's a lot of changes going on in the bass, I would recommend for you to use something called counterpoint in music theory, where there's one element sort of playing either the root note or the fifth consistently, uh, while other things are changing around it, which gives the listener a sense of stability, but still some excitement for the changes that are going on behind. Uh, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Well, for me, it was the arrangement that I think could use a bit polish. I mean, besides the problems with the harmonies and everything that Ashit pointed out, I feel the arrangement can be a little bit more exciting in a certain way. Where, for example, one of the things that is running throughout the track is that clap loop. That's the 2 and 4, the clap, which is the most common type of the house clap, as they say. So you don't need to keep running it throughout the track. You can actually remove it at certain parts. So it actually builds anticipation. But yeah, other than that, I think you can chop that up and take it forward.
All right, let's move on to the next tune. We have another returnee in the name of Inscape with a track called Kiba. Let's check it out. Dude, Inscape, what a sick tune. Really enjoyed listening to that. Just the only piece of feedback I have for you is the kick and bass seem very similar to each other, so it's hard to discern between the two. If you're using a delay to generate that bass, then I would recommend sort of processing it slightly differently. If it's a different element altogether, which you're using as a baseline, then maybe try and give it a different sort of mood. But other than that, man, your sound design skills are so on point. It's not funny. Always a big fan of how well you put your arrangements also together. Really enjoyed that one. Other than the two things that I pointed out.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a well-rounded track. I don't really have any complaints. So we can move on.
All right. So next up, we have Carmen and Kynamic with a track called Inside My Arms. Let's check it out. Yeah, I mean, absolutely no complaints about that track. Really, really well produced in terms of mixing, arrangement, in terms of building and releasing the tension. I mean, everything is so on point. I don't think I have any negative feedback about this. Great job, guys. Thank you so much for sending this in. Would you like to add anything, Anejath, or shall we move on?
No, we can move on.
Cool. Up next, we have Zadai with a track called Easy Noise. Let's check it out without further delay. Hey, Zadai, nice tune, but I think there was something missing there. I felt like the kick and bass were like very, very far back, and some of those effects were like quite loud on top. But nice vibe in the track, but I think you need to like work a little bit on the mixing side of things. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Anejath? Cool then. Shall we move on? further?
Yeah, for me it's yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, nothing, just pretty much the same thing. I just felt a couple of the melodies had a little bit too much reverb on them. That's why I felt they were muffled, or could be the fact that they're not loud enough also. Easy fixes, you can fix them up, and your drums, of course, need a bit more energy, as Guru said. So yeah, those are the things you should focus on.
Also, just a quick tip for all of you who are sending us music. Just make sure your track is normalized when you export it, because if it's softer than the previous track, then that itself sort of causes a bit of, that, okay, this is not up to the mark sort of feeling. So just normalize your tracks, guys. That's something very essential. All right, so let's move on to the next track. We have a new entry. First time I'm seeing this name on Eavesdrop. It's called Act Purple, the name of the artist, and the track is called Know Me. Let's check it out. So what I like about the track is that it's so different from what we are used to hearing here on Eavesdrop. Quite like the groove that you built with the swinging kicks and the swinging drums in general. Really nice mood as well with the synth pieces. But after say around 2 minutes and 50 seconds, I didn't know like where the track was gonna go and felt a little incomplete there. That's all I felt.
Yeah, so for me, I agree with the fact that it was a little bit incomplete, especially the second half of the track. I feel that you can actually take that journey forward. But what I loved about it was the way you started the track, the kind of slightly uncomfortable, obscure vibe you're going for. I love those kind of tracks. So kudos to you and keep going.
All right, let's move on to the next track by Combinat. The track is called Ascent of Sap. Let's check it out. Hey Harsh, thanks for sending us that tune. Uh, Quite a cool tune. Uh, it's got a very different vibe to it, which I really enjoyed. And yeah, the elements are sounding really nice and tight and crisp. Uh, do let us know in the comments if you've used a bunch of electron machines on there, because I think I can hear some. Very nice work overall. Just felt like in the breakdown, the pad still had that like sort of side-chained rhythm going on, I think, which you could do without in a breakdown. But yeah, other than that, pretty nice idea that you put together. So yeah, those are my 2 cents.
I liked it as well. I enjoyed the mood, the vibe. It was very relaxing to listen to and very spacey, very dreamy, and I like those kind of tracks. One thing, in my opinion, is those glitchy and slightly higher end elements that you're using can be cleaned up a little bit. I could hear a few resonant peaks here and there, but yeah, they're very small things. They're very minute, and but yeah, overall it was very nice. I liked it.
Right, thanks, Anejath. Let's move on to the next and final track for today's session. Track is called Wishful Thinking by Solaric. Let's check it out. And that's a wrap. And it brings us to the end of this session of Eavesdrop. Hope you all enjoyed the stream, and there were a lot of gems in here. Look forward to picking our top 5 and putting it up on our Instagram and Studio Instagram very soon. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and also thanks a lot for answering the poll. That gives us insight on what we should do next. Definitely, we're looking to get the stream a little more exciting. The first time we tried it out on YouTube, there wasn't a lot of action going on in the background, unlike when we have those, the video loops on Twitch. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, and thank you, Anejath, for being here and giving us your very important points as well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm usually the back-end curator of Eavesdrop, but good to take part in it and give feedback. And of course, listen to all this amazing music that you guys provided. I think it's a perfect way to spend a Sunday afternoon. So thank you guys, and hope to see you guys again very soon for the next edition. And we'll probably have more special guests to give you more special feedback on your tracks. So keep sending us your music. Thank you.
Yeah, so sorry about Veer not being able to make it. He had a family emergency, and obviously that takes precedence over everything else. But yeah, we promise to bring you some more big names from around the country to give you feedback from the next one. Thank you so much again. My name is Ashrit, signing off.
See you guys. Take care. Have a good Sunday.